Oxygen XML started as a generic XML editing tool, applying transformations, running transformations, editing XML, and around Oxygen 9, version 9, we added support for visual editing using the author visual editing mode. And since then, in a way, we branched. So Oxygen remained a generic XML editing tool, but we also wanted to create a solution for people who may not be XML experts. For people who may write a lot of documentation, a lot of content with XML underneath, they may want to review that content, they may want to publish that content. So we wanted this solution, this overall solution containing capabilities to edit, reuse, profile, review, and publish DITA XML content targeted towards technical documentation writers. And I will show you an overview of these solutions based on the Oxygen XML desktop tool. You can find this overview also on the Oxygen XML blog as an article. And we'll try to have some hands-on approaches to this. So Oxygen as an application has permanent user-based licensing, is a cross-platform application, and besides the support that we try to offer for editing, reviewing, and publishing, we have excellent technical support, and we try to help people daily with their questions. So what does this support for the technical documentation writers contain? On the storage part, we need to provide some capabilities for people to collaborate on a single project. So we have this free add-on called the Git client add-on, which allows people to work on projects, to check out content, to make changes, to see what changes have been made in a particular project in a visual manner, and then maybe to push the changes to the Git repository, or to pull changes from the Git repository to the local repository. So this is one particular offer we have, the Git client add-on for Oxygen. How many of you are using the Git client from Oxygen for anything? 1, 2, 3. Okay. Yeah, so if you have a Git project, or you should try to see how our Git client works with it. Oxygen also has support for SharePoint, so we have clients using Oxygen with SharePoint to collaborate on a technical documentation project. We have support to connect to WebDAV servers, again to open content, and this support also includes locking open topics, or to exist databases, also to edit content directly from an exist database. There are lots of commercial available content management systems which integrate Oxygen. So these CMSs have created either plugins for Oxygen, or they integrate our Oxygen web author in their own solutions. And we also have offer APIs to people who want to implement their own integrations between Oxygens and the file system solution, like a content management system. So we try to help people with advice if they want to build their own content management system integration plugin. So this is the storage part. Moving to the editing part. So we have the DITA Maps Manager, which allows people to edit DITA maps. DITA maps are like the table of contents of a DITA XML project. So the maps refer to either submaps or smaller topics, and they give you an overview of the entire editing support. From the DITA map, you may open individual topics or individual submaps, and you also have lots of other actions, other useful actions. And for example, to export a DITA map to a zip file, which is useful for translation, to find unreferenced resources. If, for example, you have topics which are no longer used in the publication, to edit the properties on various topic references, to fast create topics, create single topics, import content from HTML to DITA, Markdown to DITA, Excel, Microsoft Word, even DocBook or Confluence. For topics, you can right-click and search references to them and see in which parts of the publication a certain topic is referenced. You can also perform find replacing files, spell checking in files in the entire DITA map context. And you also have this useful validate and check for completeness tool, which allows people to validate the entire DITA map and to find broken links, broken image references, or all kinds of problems which may appear when people are using lots of topics with the links between them and integrating them in a larger project. So the DITA map is the overview of the publication. It also contains the publishing part. So you can publish a DITA map to WebHelp responsive output or to PDF using Oxygen, the Oxygen chemistry, or to other various output sources with even Markdown, EPUB, Windows Help, even to Microsoft Office files. For topics, we offer visual editing. So you have a topic opened in Oxygen. You have a styles drop-down which allows you to apply various editing styles to the topic. For example, inline actions, which allows people to insert elements just by clicking on them, like buttons. They are using Oxygen form controls underneath. What else? You can change the edit mode from partial tags to full tags if you want to see the XML tags which are underneath the visual editor. You can go even to full tags with attributes if you want also to see the attributes in a particular element. We have lots of side views available. So we have the attribute side view, which allows people to edit attributes for each element, like product, audience, the ID attribute. We have the elements side view, which allows you to insert valid elements in certain parts where the caret is placed. We have the breadcrumb functionality, which shows me where in the XML structure I'm placed, and the outline functionality, which shows me a tree of the entire XML document. To edit, you just type away, and you can press enter and choose from a list of allowed elements, or you can use the toolbar to insert bold, italic, underline, insert links between files, add image references, add paragraphs, video references, list items, tables if you want, stuff like this. So this is a complete editing tool for DITA XML topics. Yeah, so DITA XML is famous for its content reuse capabilities, because you can define product names that you use in multiple parts of the application. You can reuse XML elements in multiple places, ranges of elements. You can even push reusable components from one topic to another. And you can use DITA 1.3 key scopes to reuse topics with variable content in different contexts. So we have lots of functionality related to content reuse, functionality to insert a key definition with keyword, functionality to reuse content. For example, we have this side view called the DITA reusable components side view, which gives me a list of all reusable keys in the entire DITA map application. So I can just double click a key, and I have a reference, a key reference pointing to it. I also have this components tab where I see all the short elements that are used in multiple places, and I can just insert content references just by clicking in the components tab, and here is a content reference to the content located in some other place. Or like this. This is again a content reference to a phrase from another topic to this one. And again here you can say search references if you want to see where an element is being reused in the content of a larger publication. The DITA reusable components also contains a tab called the Media tab, which allows you to insert references to images, images which may be part of your publication. Oxygen has support to allow you to visual filter content and to profile content in order to obtain from one DITA map multiple types of multiple outputs. For example, for the users Oxygen users manual, I have here a filter drop-down, which allows me to pretend that maybe I'm profiling the content for the author users manual, or and as you can see, once I set the profiling, certain parts of the user's manual are being filtered out visually, both in the DITA Maps Manager and in the main editor, so that I can see that certain parts do not apply when I'm publishing for XML author or XML editor and so on. So just by changing these visual filters, I can instruct Oxygen to fade out various parts of the content, and I can also apply the same filters when I publish, so that I can publish for one version of the user's manual. I can publish the user's manual filtered in a certain way. I can also right-click and edit properties, and I can define profiling attributes for my publication. On the validation side, we have the validate and check for completeness tool that I showed you. So it's here in the DITA Maps Manager dialog, and it goes through all the content in the publication. Maybe in this case there are thousands of topics, and reports various problems that it finds in the publication. Then we have the support to add schematron checks with quick fixes to report structural problems and to offer solutions in order to fix these problems. For example, for the Oxygen users manual, we have various checks which are specific to us, like if we have a list with only one item, we have this schematron check which says this element should not be empty, or if we have a list with some content but only one list item, maybe you can implement a validation check which says well, you cannot have one list with only one item. So schematron is very flexible to detect various structure related problems. And we have, of course, the built-in spell checker, which reports problem if you make spelling mistakes. But we also have an add-on called the terminology checker add-on, and this add-on allows you to define various terms which should be prohibited in your content. So in my case, I have all these definitions, like what words to avoid in the documentation, various again here words which shouldn't be used. These are from the Microsoft Style Guide, and I also defined rules in an XML document, like you shouldn't use Oxygen in the user's manual, and when I use Oxygen it advises me to replace it with a key reference. So for example, if I type Oxygen here, I get an error that I should use the product key, and if I'm checking terminology, I can show the terminology checker view, and the checker will present me with all the problems that I have because I haven't obeyed the terminology of the project, and then I can say maybe I want to replace this with the key ref to the actual product name. We have all these capabilities to migrate from other formats. Like for example, our smart copy paste capability. So you can select content in a web browser or in Microsoft Office, and then you can paste the content somewhere, and the Oxygen should migrate the content to DITA XML, for example. You can also migrate using Oxygen's batch documents converter capabilities. So you can say tools batch documents converter, and then maybe convert one or multiple Word documents to DITA XML, or one or multiple HTML files to DITA, Markdown to DITA, and so on. Confluence to DITA Docbook. So this gives our end users the capability to move from other formats to DITA XML. Conversions are not perfect as usual, so you need to adjust them after the conversion process. Framework customizations. All this functionality that you see here, the bold, italic, underline, actions to insert links, tables, and so on, they are all customizable. They come as a framework customization, and we have lots of companies which started extending the DITA framework support in order to add new CSSs for editing, in order to add new actions for to interact with the document, to change the main menu, the contextual menu, toolbar, and content completion list. So everything is highly customizable. You can customize the content completion window, the visual editor. You can create your own new file templates which appear in when I'm using file new to create new documents, like file new DITA topics. Maybe you can create your own DITA topic types and have them show up here. Yeah, so again, implement your own schematron checks and lots of other customizations which can be done by a company in order to better fit Oxygen to their own way of doing DITA. As our visual editing support matured, we started working on various add-ons, and most of our add-ons are free to use. So we have the Git client add-on that I showed you, which allows Oxygen to connect to Git. The Content Fusion connector, which allows people to review content in a web browser. Batch documents converter to convert documents, Microsoft Word to DITA, Docbook to DITA, and so on. Terminology checker that I showed you. We have a Fluenta DITA translation add-on, which allows people to convert DITA maps to XLIF documents and then to send them to the translator agency. And the Oxygen AI Positron Assistant add-on, this commercial add-on that I presented to you a couple of hours ago. On the review part, so how do people review each other's work. One way is if they all use the Oxygen desktop application. Let's skip to a simpler DITA map. So you have a DITA map. I can visually edit the DITA map using change tracking. So I can make any change I make is recording as a track change. I can also select content and add comments. And all these track changes and comments remain available in the topic. So if I commit the topic to Git, somebody else can update the topic and see my track changes and comments. They can also reply to my comments and so on. So one way of interacting, of using these review capabilities for all writers to have maybe Oxygen XML desktop installed on their side. But there are other, maybe also more interesting ways. Another way is to use the Oxygen Content Fusion project. So so I connect to the Content Fusion server using the Oxygen Content Fusion add-on. And then I can create review tasks. So maybe I want to send this topic for review. So I select this topic in the DITA Maps Manager. Maybe I can select multiple topics and add to review task. And I'm creating a review task with a certain title and a certain context DITA map. I have the due dates here, and then I can upload it to the Content Fusion task, Content Fusion platform. And in the platform, then I can share this link with maybe with my colleagues, so they can they can open files and review my changes. As you see, by default, change tracking is enabled, so they can make changes with change tracking. They can see the changes in the task activity view, and once they are done, I can take back my task. I can say get changes, and then I can see the changes that people have made in the web editing tool and integrate them back in my application. So as a writer, I created the task, I uploaded it to Content Fusion. People who are not using Oxygen Desktop worked in Content Fusion in a web browser, made the changes, and then I took the changes back and integrated them in my topic. But there are also other ways to review the content. Let me see. So other ways to review the content include using the Oxygen feedback platform. So when you publish Oxygen to WebHelp, if you use our feedback platform, at the end of each topic, you have this feedback form that people can use to give you feedback on your content. So imagine that you have your DITA map internally in your company, and then you publish to WebHelp also internally, and you leave this feedback form at the end, and you can give engineers a link to your DITA map, to your publication, and then engineers can click here and give you feedback at the end of the topic without the need to have extra tools installed because they are working in a web browser. Yeah, so this is the Oxygen feedback. It can be used either internally as a tool to give feedback internally or externally. Like I have the Oxygen XML blog, and I want people to comment on my articles. I want them to give me feedback. You can also publish to WebHelp and include edit links like this edit online link, which can be pressed in order for somebody to review the content in Oxygen web author. So somebody takes this user manual, which is internal, they go to a certain topic that they want to review, they look over it and read it, and then they press edit online, or open the Oxygen web author, make changes, and then if you're using Git, they can commit the content directly on GitHub if they have commit rights, or they can create pull requests with the contents. In this way, a subject matter expert can give you feedback again without having a certain editing tool installed locally. We have a little bit of support for translating content. As I showed you, you can export a data map as a zip in the data maps manager view, or you can use the Fluenta data translation add-on to take a data map and create XLIF files from it. Then you take the files, send them to the translator, get them back, and recreate the data map based on the translated content. And there's a link to an article explaining this better. On the publishing part, we use the DITA Open Toolkit. We use a tool based on the DITA Open Toolkit, open source project. Our tool is called the Oxygen Publishing Engine. It's bundled with Oxygen, so if you have an Oxygen license, you can take a data map and publish to WebHelp responsive, to PDF using CSS for customization, Microsoft Word, EPUB, Windows Help, Markdown, and more. And the Oxygen Publishing Engine can also be used externally if somebody wants to publish on the server side. And these outputs, where responsive and PDF using CSS, can be customized by creating publishing templates by using the Oxygen Style Basket website. If somebody wants to, to just click things and have a CSS be generated for them automatically just by selecting a cover image, selecting a certain page size, and so on. Or you can also write your own CSS customizations, maybe after you have used the Oxygen Styles Basket to create the initial customization. And publishing, we have lots of past webinars related to publishing, and you can see some of them on our website. This is more or less what I wanted to show you today. What are your questions for me, or improvement requests? Nothing? Magda, not even you?
Well, I gave you a few already.
Right.
So one additional thing is that the feedback, for instance, allows also blog level comments. The feedback that presented allows to comment also on a specific blog, for instance, not necessarily at the end of the topic. So this can be used also as a live review tool. And we also have a plugin that connects to the Oxygen feedback and maps those comments to the source. So if you are an Oxygen desktop, you can install the feedback plugin, connect that to the feedback platform, and when you edit the source XML, you can see the comments associated with the blog or with the topic directly in the desktop version. So you have this complete live review platform also based on Oxygen feedback.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for listening, and I'll be at the Oxygen stand tomorrow and the day after tomorrow if you want to talk more about this. Thank you.